Hey, my name is Amanda Pennington. My class is SPCE 689, Section 802, and the date is 3/15/2025. I'm going to be responding to prompt B for the rule-governed behavior assignment, so the one with Quinn. So I'll go ahead and start by defining rule-governed behavior. So these are behaviors that are controlled not necessarily by an immediate consequence or contingency that an individual has experienced themselves firsthand, rather than written or spoken rules that they have been told or exposed to. So for example, driving the speed limit not because of a speeding ticket that you've received in the past and facing those immediate consequences, but because you've been told that there is a possibility of receiving a fine or a court summons if you're caught going over the speed limit. So in prompt B, this is an example of rule-governed behavior because Quinn has created this self-imposed contingency for herself, not because she's received feedback from supervisors or clients in the past saying that because she hasn't solved these problems perfectly, she's a bad behavior analyst, but because she's set such high standards for herself and now has an expectation for herself that she needs to complete these issues and solve them perfectly in order to consider herself good at her job. So in turn, neutral stimuli can be anxiety-inducing, especially for a self-imposed contingency like this, because the high standards that she's holding herself to, she's now likely to interpret any feedback that she receives as more critical or harsh than it was intended to be. Especially in supervisory meetings, any feedback that she is receiving is more than likely for a growth opportunity rather than criticism. And of course, nobody can be perfect, but because of the internal rule that Quinn has set for herself, she's going to maybe view any feedback that she receives as negative. If she were to solve each issue perfectly, then there would be no need for notes from her supervisor. So to her, if there's a need for supervision, that means that there's feedback. And if there's feedback, that means she didn't solve the issues perfectly. And if she didn't solve the issue perfectly, that means she's not good at her job. So you can see how this cycle induces a lot of anxiety in the workplace. In the future, her data collection is probably also going to feel way more high stakes because she's always looking for the perfect answer in order to consider her work adequate. So because of that, moving into part 3, due to her high anxiety, she might now engage in avoidant behavior, specifically avoidance of supervisory meetings or any other opportunities for feedback. So the desire to collect perfect data or reduce behaviors completely will more than likely cause her to procrastinate in scheduling the meetings, entering the meetings with her supervisor, taking further data, or even reporting new behaviors to her supervisor. So she'll also be likely to avoid asking for help if she needs it, as she's more than likely viewing this as not being able to perform perfectly if she needs help. So this avoidant behavior will be temporarily maintained by the anxiety of feedback being delayed in the moment. Because this is a self-imposed rule, Quinn's anxiety surrounding her adequacy will likely subside momentarily when she avoids any opportunities for feedback or anything that might tell her that she hasn't solved these issues perfectly. But in the long term, the avoidant behaviors might make the anxiety worse because she still believes that she needs to be perfect. Then any imperfection will be detrimental to her competence. So this reinforces the rule and it maintains the cycle of maladaptive behavior of avoiding supervisory meetings, holding herself to such high standards, and things in the like.